Hi again, great to have you with us, and I know it's way past the time to do this, but I do want to say Happy New Year. I'm Jeff Smith, and this is Leading Edge. Really excited to share with you an interview that I did this week with the president and CEO of the Toledo Zoo. The Toledo Zoo is just months away from reopening the Reptile House on the zoo campus. But also on the radar in 2026 is a zoo levy, which will actually change the way Lucas County residents are taxed. Coming up, we're going to give you a tour behind the scenes of all the construction that is underway and what you will see in the next couple of months. But first, we dive into the dollars and cents of it all. Keep in mind, a zoo levy request has not failed since 2006 in Lucas County, and this one comes with an asterisk by it. That's why I wanted to start out covering that with Jeff Saylor. Here is the beginning of our conversation. You said, before we sat down here, Jeff, you said it's not very often that you go to taxpayers or you go to a levy review board and you say, we want to drop the amount we're asking. How is the Toledo Zoo able to do that?
Well, first off, we are so thankful of the support that the Toledo Zoo has gotten from the taxpayers of Lucas County for the last 45 years. I mean, it's truly what has allowed this zoo to become what it is today, right? At the same time, we've been very conscientious about how we use that money. We've been very thoughtful about stewardship of that money. And we also know that we should be working to reduce our reliance on that money for a number of reasons. I mean, there's so many needs within the county, right? And if we're running a good business, we should be able to wean ourselves off of this to some extent. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're doing. So we're coming to the taxpayers. I believe this will be the third levy we've asked for a reduction. And I'm pretty proud of that, to actually have come in and we've not asked for an increase even once in the last 13 years.
Help Joe taxpayer wrap his mind around that. What does that mean? You're going to go to the ballot again with a levy request, but it will be less.
It'll be less. We'll be getting much less money from it. We are doing something this time that might be a little confusing. It'll say on the ballot we're asking for an additional levy. That's because we're letting our two current levies expire. They currently exist, so for the ballot language, it must say an additional levy.
Say that again, just so people, that kind of resonates.
On the ballot, it will say the Toledo Zoo is asking for an additional levy.
But you're not.
But we're not. Our two current levies both expire at the end of this year. So if the taxpayers choose to support us once again, the new levy will not start collections until 2027. And by that point, the two current levies will have expired and will no longer have collections on those. So what we've asked is to combine both the operating and capital functions of the current levies into one new levy. At the same time, we've reduced the overall millage, so it will produce $25 million less over the life of the levy.
I wanted to ask you about context and people understanding an operation like this. We always get tunnel vision, right? Because of what we have here, we don't appreciate this, we do appreciate that. So let's take, for instance, Lights Before Christmas. A ticket costs $32 to get in the door, right? But you're saying, you were pointing out to me the fact that those who have family memberships already or have memberships to the zoo, they get into that kind of event versus other establishments around the country.
Yeah, and a lot of different places around the country, you would pay extra for a Lights of experience, even if you were a member. Here, it's part of the membership package, and it's why even though the ticket price itself, might seem a higher value, when you look at the number of times a member to the zoo comes to the zoo each year, that averages out at much less.
Mm-hmm. And you also said because of the fact you get visitors who are not within Lucas County, let's take Wood County, for example, you're seeing a lot of revenue come in the door.
You're seeing a lot of revenue come in the door, but we actually have visitors from all 50 states most years. Only about 30% of our attendance comes from Lucas County. The rest comes from outside of Lucas County. There's actually about 40% from Michigan. which is huge. That's new dollars coming into our community, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Large number of people coming from Indiana to take advantage of the zoo, both at lights and at other times. And we've also been very cognizant of the fact that, you know, there's a big socioeconomic gap in Toledo, in the Toledo region. There are a lot of people that struggle. And we've put a lot of effort into our community partner membership program, which is working with other local nonprofits to get family memberships into the hands of those that may not be able to afford one on their own. Mm-hmm. And this last year, I believe the number was close to 4,400 family memberships we put into people's hands here in the community that might not have been able to afford them overall. And in the time this program has been going, I think we're at 22,000 memberships that we've put out into the community for families.
What's your best pitch, Jeff, to somebody who's like, I'm overtaxed, I don't have the money, I appreciate what you do, I love what the Toledo Zoo is about, however...
I would first say, once again, we are coming to you for less. I would say, secondly, almost every dime of this levy money goes back into this community. It pays people's employment, it pays for the contractors that do work here, it pays for all kinds of services that help grow the overall economy in this community. I would also point out that this institution, we're very proud of the fact that we're bringing new dollars to Toledo. You know, we have about 250 full-time employees here at the zoo, but we also employ close to 1,000 people in part-time roles throughout the zoo. That's a lot of employment, you know, when you compare us to other entities around town. And I also like to say, we're often a person's first job or a person's last job. A lot of people start here out of high school with their summer jobs, right? And we also have a lot of individuals that come here after retirement to make a little extra money. So overall, helping us with the levy support is providing a small percentage of the overall zoo's budget, but is paying huge dividends to the community.
When we come back, making what's old new again with some added splash. How do you maintain the integrity of history while also creating something for the future? They've done it before. They're doing it again. Leading Edge continues in just a moment. Hi there, welcome back to Leading Edge. I'm your host, Jeff Smith. Always glad to have you with us along for the ride. We are talking this week with the Toledo Zoo's Jeff Saylor. Now, the zoo is months away from debuting a more than year-long project to transform one of the zoo's oldest, most historic structures. We're talking about the Reptile House. And as you will hear coming up, it's a conversation about preservation and creativity. Bring me and bring our viewers up to speed on what the hope was for this renovation.
I love these older historic buildings on our zoo grounds. We have the largest collection of works progress administration buildings on any campus in the United States. These were buildings that were built during the Great Depression when Roosevelt was able to find money for the tradespeople to do the building, but the materials of this building are all recycled from all around town. We actually have a plaque in the back that talks about where the bricks came from, where the wood came from, where the stones in the floor came from, and it's really an amazing story. They really were amazing testaments to the tradespeople and to this workforce that Toledo's always had, especially within the construction trades, and all they've been able to produce. And so the ability to go into these buildings, to keep them going for another, this one's close to 90 years old, to have it in a situation where it can be around for another 90 years and be relevant and be achieving its mission is just an incredible honor to be able to do. We are extremely sensitive to keeping those elements of these buildings during the renovations, keeping them true to the original intent, the original designers. And you can see it with the aquarium.
I didn't know what I was going to walk into when we came through the doors. But I mean, at its core, it's still the Reptile House.
It's still the Reptile House, but it's going to be even more spectacular if that's possible than it was before.
Yeah. Is there a moment where you're saying, I want to upgrade this, I want to do that, but I also want to keep it, old? If that's a fair word.
So I would say we actually start from,
Because I'm looking at the chandeliers and they look updated.
They're not.
They're not.
They're not even remotely. Those are the original chandeliers.
Okay,
The light
they're just
bulbs are
clean.
different, but yes, they are original. No, we actually start with that. Like, I'll actually say, like, what aspects of the sort of the spirit of that building do we want to maintain? And then what elements of it do we think we can improve upon from the standpoint of the guest experience? Like, we're sitting in front of an exhibit that used to end back against that wall. We brought them out and brought the viewing glass all the way to the bottom so they'd be more accessible for youngsters, people in wheelchairs, what have you. And so you get a bigger space for the animals, which is better for their welfare, but you also get a more immersive experience for the guest.
Where are all the animals right now?
They're throughout the zoo in many different places. There's a lot of animals, and at the same time, because you need to be ready for opening day, there's a lot of animals coming in at this time. So new animals coming in, animals that we kept from the old exhibits that are still here. But the biggest thing for us in the coming months is getting the plants established in the exhibits, getting all the aquaria set up, because an exhibit, not this one, but its counterparts, will actually be flooded up until the floor space. And so there'll be fish and such in those. Those are all things that have to be set up and cycled and made sure that they're all in working order long before we open the doors to the public.
When you guys started going through this building, how were the bones?
Oh, these WPA era buildings they're built to last.
Because you went through the same thing with the aquarium,
And the
correct?
museum. The
Yeah.
masonry on these buildings is absolutely incredible. The superstructure of these buildings. The aquarium had a little bit more wear and tear because of the salt water that was kept in there for the fish. But this building's in really great shape. What it is deficient in is when it was designed and built, we didn't have modern HVAC, modern electrical, modern lighting. So trying to add those elements to the infrastructure and not destroy sort of the architectural aesthetics of this building is where a lot of our time and effort went. So some people might come and say, well, you added a few, larger exhibits, but what all did you do, with the resources reported to it? A lot of it was put into these infrastructural elements that will be needed for the next 90 years. You mentioned earlier that this is a building that was always hot when you came in.
Right.
It was a little bit uncomfortable. We'll now be able to air condition the public space, but keep all of the animal exhibits at the temperatures they need to be for those animals.
There's not only the renovation happening, but there's also some new building that's going on.
Yeah, we always try to look for a potential payback on these buildings. Like, how can
What
we...
does that mean?
Well, if you keep building and you don't think about how you're going to support that new construction, I mean, obviously there's elements you have to do continued maintenance on these buildings, there's continued wear and tear, the utilities, what have you. So we look for ways where we can create revenue streams with some of these. This building off the back, we added another event space that we can use for corporate events that fits within sort of our portfolio of event spaces that we have on grounds. What's really wonderful about it is this also allowed us to build an even larger enclosure for our crocodile. I think a lot of people forget he is the largest crocodile in this hemisphere. He was brought here with the support of Blocks Communications, and he's still here. I think this will be his 13th year this April. And so to be able to have a brand new, larger exhibit for him with underwater viewing so he can inspire even more people, was a great opportunity for us. And you'll see some great things we've done for his welfare. There's retractable skylights so he can actually get sunlight coming down on him from the outside on nice days, which will do wonders for him.
What are you hoping that people are going to walk away with? What should they expect? What should they walk away with?
I'm hoping they walk away with some pride for Toledo. That
Once again, right?
once again, that we have pieces of architecture like this, that we have organizations like this here in our hometown, and that it's something we can be proud of. It's something that draws people to our community. It's something that supports the economic environment of our community, and at the same time, it just makes you feel good.
All right, so when we come back, without further ado, we've got a tour for you. We wanted to give you a sneak peek so that you can kind of get a vision for what's to come this year at the Toledo Zoo. Stay tuned. Our tour of all the new stuff is straight ahead. Welcome back once again to Leading Edge. I'm your host, Jeff Smith. During our time at the Toledo Zoo this week, President CEO Jeff Saylor took us on a tour so that we could show you what to expect when the doors to the Reptile House open Memorial Day weekend.
All of these handrails came from a waterlogged walnut tree that was in the Wabash Erie Canal where the trail is today.
Really?
Yeah,
Now, this is something that has always been here?
it's always been here.
So what was part of the project with this?
We've kept it. We've kept it in these places,
Yeah.
and because to me that's an amazing story, right?
Right.
All of this rock work.
We go back to the bones.
Yep, go
of
back to the
of building.
bones. It's an amazing building that represents the history of Toledo from even prior to the Depression, which is incredible. So, you know, trying to put modern HVAC into a historic building can be tough. And so in some places we've had to punch through the old brickwork. And you can see where it's a little scarred from that initial work.
On the top side.
But we'll come
Yeah.
back in
Yeah.
and we'll work with artisans to stain all that so it looks the same as it did
Yeah.
prior to the installation.
Yeah. But it's kind of a tap dance, kind of a,
Yep, trying to manage all these things. You know, all the woodwork in the ceiling is the same. We pointed out these chandeliers. They're the original. These two will get moved because they don't really work with this new exhibit here in the middle. They'll get moved back here and light this space. But the other four originals will stay here, and they'll just have new LED lighting
yeah,
to save on power.
makes sense.
Back through here, we have the Crocodile's old exhibit, kind of blocked in by all of this equipment. So you can see the old space here.
Okay, so this is staying.
Yep, but this is,
Crocodile will be moved.
he'll be right here. So this will be the water level. And you can see the beach he'll be able to go up on.
Yeah.
They've got some scaffolding in here to work on the glass. He's actually behind that door. The first thing we did, because you asked earlier, like, where are the reptiles,
Right,
right? Well,
right.
he's the largest inhabitant of this building. Not a lot of things you can do with him. So we actually built him a new off-exhibit bedroom before we did any other construction.
Wow.
And it connects the old exhibit to the new exhibit. So once that was done, we coaxed him in there. And when this is done, he'll come right back out.
Wow.
And from a management standpoint, it now means we can work him in sort of a round robin sort of situation. If we need to do a medical care for him, or we need to clean this exhibit, he can go next door,
Yeah.
or he can go back into the bedroom.
Yeah.
We'll actually bring in two really large alligators for the other side. So there'll now be two different large crocodilians.
Will those be new animals?
New animals that'll come here from Florida. So there'll be the giant crocodile on this side and some very large alligators on the other, and then they'll have that management space in the back that allows us to work.
Is there any way, any of your, I guess, specialists who can look at that animal and say, I think he will be mobile? Or is it just a guess?
A lot of it's a guess, but our keepers are really good.
How old is that animal?
Well, we have to estimate it. He came from the wild. He was a part of a human wildlife conflict situation where he was eating a farmer's cattle. That's how big he is.
Wow.
And he was pulled from the wild. He was too big to be part of a crocodile farm because the males are just way too aggressive in those tight spaces. And so we brought him to the US. He was at least 50 or 60 years old when we brought him here. So he's conservatively 70 to 80 years old at this point, and could go to 120, but that's like saying a human being could go to 115, right? So we'll see. But he's got a great space here, and the staff has been really wonderful with training him. He will actually move where they ask him to go, and that's how they got him to go in the back. He will come up to feed. And so when the time comes, they'll be able to bring him right into this exhibit. Now, what's nice about this one is you see where that door is. It's actually below the water line.
Okay.
So he'll be able to swim directly in here.
Gotcha.
He won't even have to walk on land to get to this.
So
this
all
new
that
exhibit.
opening will be underwater?
Except for about the top 12 inches.
I got you.
Yep. You can see the overflow on the, what will be the overflow for the pool right there.
Now, is that rock that we're looking at, or
That is,
or what is even this pour? Is that
it's
just
a concrete-like substance called gunite, and it
Well, they make
is,
pools out of it.
and it's also sculpted to look like this.
Yeah,
And
okay.
so I loved what they did in the detail on the top there to try to match some of the old rock work
Yeah.
that you'd see on the other side of the exhibit.
Yeah.
Just really amazing artisanship. And then these
And
are
those
the
are the skylights.
the
you were
retractable
referring to,
skylights
right?
that pull back. Yep. And then we have a catwalk here where the keepers can work with them from above.
Oh wow.
And the zoo-going public can come through here and look at him throughout the day.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we also have on the other side here This will be the new event space that we'll be able to use to generate more revenue for the zoo. We'll open right up to the crocodile viewing, and of course, if this room is in use, the general public can view through there. If it's not in use, they can come all the way around.
Oh, that's awesome.
But this was amazing. To get these pieces of glass in,
Yeah.
we had to use a crane and lower them through the skylights.
Really?
Yeah. And this piece unfortunately broke, so we're waiting for the replacement piece to come in.
Man.
That's the only thing keeping us from filling this with water.
Yeah.
Really amazing.
Is this the centerpiece, you
Yeah.
think, of
Yeah.
what people are going to see?
I think when you're up close to that animal, because when he's standing next to me, he's this tall, which you can't, it's hard to even conceive of a crocodile or alligator that's that big.
Right.
He's absolutely enormous.
And long.
Yes. At this point, probably close to 18 feet long.
Little behind the scenes tour. Final word right after this. Well, welcome back. Just a reminder, if you have anything you would like to share with us, we hope you've enjoyed this episode. You want to reach out with comments, ideas, suggestions, it's easy. Just send us an email. It's leadingedge, all one word, at WTOL.com. Always so great to be with you. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, I'm Jeff Smith. Listen, learn, and lead.